Welcome to Thieves' Cant, a tabletop gaming podcast, with your hosts, Jeremy Shane and Chris White.
Welcome in and welcome back. It is Thieves' Cant, Monday, November 24th. I'm Jeremy Shane.
And I'm Chris White.
Glad to have you. Thanks for listening as always. Thanks for subscribing at thievescantcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you're listening. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's a little damp outside, but there's nothing but sunshine in my heart.
Hey, today we are asking the question, digital or analog? How do you like your gaming? That's actually going to be our question of the week. So think about that. Let us know. We're also talking Draw Steel today, The Forgotten Realms, and a new Kickstarter from MT Black. But first, some listener feedback.
In response to last episode's question of the week, which was, how do you respond to dice that go on a cold streak? Emil the Wookiee Man, our boy, says, my way of dealing with cold dice is to never let the unnerving feeling and frustration leave my stomach even after the session. Let it sour and ferment until it poisons my whole perception of the system, and then cure it by switching to Draw Steel. I don't recommend dealing with it like I do, but I do recommend Draw Steel.
Okay.
That's a great response. I'm pretty sure I deal with things in a similar way that he does.
Just shove it down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just
hold it inside.
Keep that bitterness. Blame the system. Absolutely. But probably not good advice.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, Wookiee Man, thanks as always for the feedback. He recommends Draw Steel. Draw Steel is first up in the news. If you are a Draw Steel fan or Draw Steel curious, you'll be pleased to know that MCDM has several projects in development. Again, Draw Steel is not just going to be a little one-off. It's not going to be a blip. They plan to support this line. They just released earlier this month on Patreon a playtest for a second-level adventure for Draw Steel called Dark Heart of the Wood. The description calls it a Monster of the Week style adventure, playable in one or two sessions. So there's that. There's also the Crack the Sun Super Adventure. This is a full campaign, I believe, expected to crowdfund in December. I think this will be like the third straight year with an MCDM crowdfunder. Draw Steel a couple years back, the dice set last year, and now the Mega Adventure. And that's not all. There's the Draw Steel Codex. That is coming to Steam sometime in 2026. It's the game's virtual tabletop, the digital rule set, the encounter design tool, the character builder, all that. And it's going to include the starter adventure, the Daily Entomb. Of course, this is all in addition to the new Beast Heart class that they're currently gathering feedback for. So we know there's more player options on the way as well. Tons happening on the Draw Steel front. I don't know if you've seen the Steam splash page.
I have not.
Draw Steel, man, looks really good.
Really?
It looks really, really good. I mean, they are, if all goes according to plan, I believe they're going to pull off what a company like WotC has always promised. Mm-hmm. You know, I remember the 4th edition.
Oh, yeah.
Players have the little ad on the back for the new tabletop, and
yeah,
we never saw it come to fruition.
Right. Well, and of course they just had the failure,
of course, on D&D Beyond,
yeah,
right? With that VTT there. What was that called? Project Sigil.
Yeah.
Now completely shut down. So we've seen the attempt come from the biggest name.
Yeah.
What Draw Steel is about to roll out. It's going to be pretty significant on the digital front. So,
it'll be huge, and this game can really, really benefit from it, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I just looked at the notes. And I saw the full campaign. All I saw was crack ! And I was like, that's an interesting name.
Right.
What kind of adventure is this going to be?
But yeah, Crack the Sun.
Crack the Sun.
Each word has an exclamation point after it. Yeah,
that's probably better.
By the way, speaking of digital tools, I did see that Fantasy Grounds is now free. It's always been free on the player side of things, but if you were going to run a game on Fantasy Grounds, You had to pay, I think it was like a $50 license, or you could do like a monthly subscription. But now, just to use it, it's free. You've still got to buy the content that you're going to run on it. But Fantasy Grounds, I mean, they support. There are tons of RPGs on Fantasy Grounds.
So that's great.
So that's there if you're looking for digital content. Moving on, we've got more Forgotten Realms source books on the way. Ed Greenwood has announced Realms Bound, a brand new Forgotten Realms initiative launching on DM's Guild in 2026. Greenwood says the project is a continuing publishing effort focused on exploring regions of the realms in greater depth, with a different region planned each year. And the first region coming in 2026, it's going to be Icewind Dale and Baldur's Gate. No. No, the first year's focus is going to be the Dale lands.
Now, where in the Sword Coast are the Dale lands? Good. Thank you. The Forgotten Realms, like plural. I'm glad they're going to explore something a little different.
But this is an Ed Greenwood project, not a WotC.
Well, that's true.
Project.
That's exactly.
All right. This is the creator of the Forgotten Realms, who I think it's a really cool idea in concept. Every year we're gonna flesh out more and more regions of the Forgotten Realms.
Absolutely.
The opening release is going to be Guide to the Dale Lands. It'll expand on material previously found in those two most recent WotC Forgotten Realms releases, Adventures in Faerun and Heroes of Faerun. Other scheduled 2026 releases include Insights of the Dale Lands. That'll be geared towards social encounters. It'll cover not just inns, but NPCs, mini-games, social occasions like festivals and tournaments. Could be cool. Delves of the Dale Lands is another planned release, a collection of dangerous locations to serve as adventure fodder. And finally, Adventures in the Dale Lands. That'll be an anthology of adventures for levels 1 to 12. If you want updates, you can sign up at mythmakers.com/realmsbound. We'll put a link in the thing. I'm excited about this. I think this is cool. If you're a Forgotten Realms fan, I don't know what else you'd be looking for than more material from the creator himself.
Yeah, probably the only Forgotten Realms product I've been interested in this year. So I'm excited about it.
So that's coming in 2026 and hopefully for many years beyond that. All right, that's the news. Let's bounce over to crowdfunding. MT Black has a new Kickstarter campaign. It's Temple of the Lightbringers, 5e adventure designed for 1st to 4th level characters, structured as a traditional dungeon crawl. You're going to be exploring the ruins beneath a long-fallen shrine, uncovering secrets, confronting threats tied to like kind of a central theme of light battling darkness. That seems to be the big idea here. Light and dark. Playtime is estimated at 4 to 8 hours, so a complete adventure you can run in 1 or 2 sessions probably. The design emphasizes atmospheric exploration, tense encounters, and a storyline that lets players feel the weight of uncovering something ancient and dangerous. The page says that the adventure is written to be DM-friendly. Apparently, you can pick up and play without requiring too much time investment. Multiple pledge levels, of course. I'm only going to touch on a couple, the lowest and the highest, because I think they're both an incredible value. At the lowest end, about $6 is going to get you the adventure in PDF, but it will also include full-color digital battle maps, and you're going to get, with that $6 pledge for the adventure, MT Black's Iskandar Player's Handbook. Iskandar is his setting that he's built up over the years, released tons of material for. So for $6,
yeah.
But if you want to go up to the highest pledge for the premium bundle, it's only $80. Now, $80 is not a small chunk of change, but I say only $80 based on the amount of stuff you get. You get everything I just said. You get the adventure in PDF, you get the digital battle maps, and you get the Iskandar Player's Handbook. But you're also getting the adventure in soft cover. You're getting the hardcover versions of MT Black's Anatomy of Adventure, the Emporium of Wonders, and Iskandar Adventures. That's not all. You're going to get the complete collection of Iskandar PDFs. I think the Kickstarter page says it's like 1,800 pages of material.
Wow.
So that's 4 books, 1 soft cover, 3 hardcover, and all that digital content, $80. I don't know what shipping is.
Yeah, but if you're even remotely interested, everything you need for $80, that's incredible.
I think it's beyond everything you need. It's like literally everything.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
like you can't get anything else.
Yeah.
This is it. Funding for 14 more days as of this recording. One more stop in today's show, a little back booth banter. Chris, we're talking digital tools versus analog gaming. Back in the news segment, of course, we were talking the new virtual tools from MCDM for Draw Steel, that free Foundry license, all that. So it's got us thinking about the impact of digital tools in the gaming space. VTTs versus your in-person, battle mat. Digital character builder versus pen and paper. Using phones or tablets or laptops at the table. Really, it's what tools genuinely make RPGs better, what simply just becomes overkill. I think it's important to clarify at the top that we're talking about an in-person game rather than playing virtually. If you're playing virtually, obviously, you're going to want digital tools.
Certainly, we have to acknowledge that there are games that lend themselves to something like this, games that don't. Right.
Okay.
I mean, some of the best adventures and encounters that I've had in like D&D were theater of the mind. Right. So I don't need either one of those components. Like if we think about like VTT or like a physical mat that you're playing on.
Right.
Right. But other games, I think it's way more helpful. But usually these aren't necessary. You know what I mean? As far as, the more technologically focused. And it's like everything else. I mean, it's just what you can afford and what you are comfortable playing with.
And I think at least some percentage of how much have you conditioned yourself to rely on certain tools.
Right.
Right? Because habits form. We convince ourselves that we are reliant upon a tool.
And this can go as far as you want. Like, I mean, I can remember sometimes it would be as simple as, okay, the X's are party members, the O's are bad guys, and we don't even have a grid. You know what I mean? So it's almost theater of the mind, but here's a rough estimate of what's there. And then,
right.
Of course, a lot of people like to have a grid because it's more precise, especially, like with Draw Steel. It's not optional, right? I mean, they even present you need some kind of a map, some kind of a grid system.
Sure. Draw Steel is really interesting in this discussion space. One, it's our most recent gaming experience. Mm-hmm. We're tinkering with it right now. But here's the loop that I'm kind of in with it. The first session of the Daily Entomb that I ran,
mm-hmm.
I spent the previous day getting all of my dungeon tiles together that I could,
right.
that I could put together to represent the maps that they had thrown on. Now, I should note the PDF package that you get when you purchase the Delian Tomb, it gives you all the maps. You've got full color maps there. So if you're playing digitally, mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
you can use those. If you want to print those out, take them to a print shop, have them print out large size versions of them. You can. You're going to rack up a really hefty bill that way. So it's not practical in an economic sense. It's just
right.
not. So I'm using the resources that I have, my dungeon tiles, try to get those organized. The point being, I spent a lot of time to do this.
Yeah.
And so whenever I look at the upcoming Draw Steel Codex, that's really attractive.
Mm-hmm.
I could even see using that at the table. Right. I've got my screen. We can all see it. But that kind of icks me out.
Yeah.
At the same time. I'm like, yeah, that would really make things easy. But is that the table experience that I want? We're all looking at the screen. We're all moving our tokens around. Honestly, it's not.
Yeah.
I don't want that experience at the table, even though I know it would make my life easier as a Draw Steel director. So, okay. So now I'm back on the analog side. and I'm faced with prep time to get all of my tools together. Okay, so what if I didn't do that? What if I just used my dry erase map, sketch out a rough version of the map I suppose I could go that way. Mm-hmm. But now I'm playing this system that could really make use of all this cool stuff that I have.
Right.
So I'm in that loop where I feel like I can't win. I can't please myself.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't have a lot of those same reservations. The other group that I play with, outside of the DM whose house we play at, I've never seen anybody bring a book. Like we all have a tablet or our phone. Most of us have both out. I do find everybody wants real dice, all the accessories. Everybody wants their miniatures out, and we use tiles, dungeon tiles, but I don't have a hang up with a virtual tabletop at all. I mean, I look at them, some of them, and it's like, oh gosh, they're animated and like, ooh, there's lava over there. That lava's flowing. It's kind of getting the vibe. There's a glow in the room, and I see the appeal of it. Again, it's cost prohibitive in a different way. If you start collecting minis, that is an incredibly expensive hobby, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It is insane to me, the cost of some of these miniatures. So, well, you can print your own. Well, now you're buying a printer and now you're buying filament. So there's a cost. You can run a virtual tabletop, but, well, you're going to need some kind of a screen and a table or something, to run that. So there's going to be a cost there. It's just a hobby that costs money unless you're willing to deal with, like you said, kind of a bare bones setup, which you are more than capable of playing the game with.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not prohibitive.
We've got a Draw Steel session coming up very soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I am going to intentionally for this session, I am going to go bare bones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only going to bring the dry erase flip map, not going to try to scrounge for minis. We'll just use some beads.
The thing is, I mean, ideally, all of this is in your mind. It's your imagination, but it's just how much help do you want to give it? I mean, those things are cool. Like I look at people playing on a virtual tabletop, there's this map and all of these effects or these cool minis they've got. Somebody will pull out a giant dragon and it's like, that's cool, right? That looks neat, but it's not necessary for the game. That's why this is all subjective, within, again, the limitations of your finance. But there's not a right or wrong answer. It's personal preference. So I don't know what serves. The problem is, I think to some extent, there might be a Pandora's box here. Imagine if you started playing on this really nice virtual tabletop with all these minis, and then you go over to your friend's house. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna run a game," and he whips out, a whiteboard with, what do we have? We have a whiteboard with black tape to make the squares. You know what I mean? Like it's like dry erase markers.
It's like auto trim.
Yeah, it works great.
Yeah,
but I'm not hung up on it either. Like I don't need it because as a DM, I look at every situation as what serves my purpose. That's why sometimes I'm like, we don't need the grid. Like we can do this theater of the mind. And if you're enjoying the game, if you're enjoying the narrative, if you're enjoying the adventure, as long as you can accomplish the things, both players and DMs, none of it is necessary, but that doesn't make it wrong either.
My experience, this is just me. If you're running your D&D campaign that I play in,
mm-hmm.
I am less engaged if I've got the D&D Beyond character sheet up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm always just, all right, which tab do I need to be? All right, where's that thing? I'm less engaged, but also on the flip side, I don't know that I'm with the number of options that you have as a player, if I'm capable of running my character without that digital assistance.
Right.
Now, this goes back to what I said at the top. I have conditioned myself to feel this way.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I
opened the Pandora's box.
Yeah, and that's just a sad fact for me. If my options are, for example, D&D Beyond or opening the player's handbook, it's not an option. Like, I'm going to go in D&D Beyond. That's where I conceptualize characters. That's where I live. And so I'll be honest, like, I have not made a character and written it on paper in probably a decade or more.
Oh, man.
I'm sure. Yeah.
You've forgotten what it even feels like.
Yeah. No, I remember what it feels like. and that's it.
Why you're not going back?
Yeah, I'm not going back. So, I mean, and well, it's like with Draw Steel, the first thing I said, I was like, ugh, I don't want to make this character,
Right.
like it's pre-made. Okay, cool. But you sent me a link, some kind of character generating software.
Like what was it? Steelforge.io or something like that.
Yeah. So, obviously they've got more official tools that are coming out
right
in the near future or whenever. I don't know when they're scheduled, but that's up my alley. It's the same thing with 4th edition. I never made a character. It was all going to be in that builder because there are so many options. In the day when we made them, it was, way back in 2nd edition, character options were not as expansive, and it which, good or bad, it was different. So maybe with an older, like an old school game or something that has less of that. I was looking at Castles and Crusades, and it was a lot closer, and so there weren't as many character abilities. Maybe then, but like now, the options are too much. And I'll be honest with you, this is just me because I'm lazy at bookkeeping. When digital tools became available, spellcasters became available.
It opened that up for you.
It did.
That avenue of gameplay.
Yeah, because I had no interest in writing down what's in my spell book and what spells I know. I'm not the note taker. So
right.
when I'm the DM, I'm not the note taker, which is bad. So so for me maybe it's just laziness, but it's easy.
Yeah.
And so I tend to go that route.
On my side, it's a huge lover of 4th edition D&D, somebody who has a strong interest in Draw Steel, like what I see out of it. My experience with those games, as I reflect on it, maybe they are not really the games for me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I am looking for something simpler. Acknowledging that digital tools would make these games so much easier to contend with makes me face the fact that I don't really enjoy digital tools.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what's going to make this easier, maybe it's worth just exploring simpler systems to tell the stories that I want to tell.
Yeah, it may be. I think that the digital tools are, for a lot of people, they're a necessary evil in that regard.
Yeah. I don't want to be dependent on digital tools. I don't want to sit at the table anymore with a laptop in front of me. I'm an analog guy.
Yeah, I think we probably are on opposite ends of the spectrum in that regard, and that's okay. Personal preference, I think, is really what a lot of it is.
I never wanted this to feel like a video game. That's never why I was drawn to the hobby. It's never why I was curious. Whenever you first brought me to that table of like something god awful, like 12 players around the table, right? But we had so much fun, and it had nothing to do with screen time.
Right.
So my fondest memories in gaming, there's not a screen nearby, except maybe the TV over in the corner that has some pro wrestling muted.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Okay, yeah.
I have not grown well with the times. You have.
I don't think there's a wrong answer because it's obvious there's a lot of demand for both, for people who are looking for both of those things.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that the hobby seems healthy.
Right.
There's, whatever your interest is, you could find it.
Yeah.
So that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. And it's maybe within your group, it's like with us, you like the digital stuff, I like the digital, you like the analog. So we have to find a compromise. That's everything in life. I mean,
sure.
Everything about gaming to some extent or another involves compromise.
Yeah.
From even to the point of when are we going to meet next? When's our next session? So that's part of it. It's part of, being in that group and finding the happy medium. Plus whoever's running. I mean, I think most gamers recognize whoever's running the game, do your thing.
Yeah.
Like if you're running it and you hate digital stuff, then do the analog thing, man. We can make it work, and if you like things digital, all right, well, cool. Then go with that.
So digital or analog, where do you stand when it comes to your game table? Again, obviously, if you're playing online, that's a different scenario. So when it comes to the table space, where do you stand? You can let us know in the comments. You can email thievescantcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you and feature your feedback. Chris, I think that's going to close the curtain on another episode of Thieves Cant. Any parting words?
I think we need to start analog recording the show. That's what we need to do.
Bring back some reel-to-reel.
Yeah.
I'll be clear. When it comes to this show, I'm all in on the digital tools. All right. Until next week, have a great week of life, gaming, all that. And we'll see you next time on Thieves Cant. I'm Jeremy Shane.
And I'm Chris White.
So long.
Thank you for listening to Thieves Cant. Email thievescantcast@gmail.com.